26. And this is Patriots have pride, Patriots have love, united, not divided, flags out. Patriots are in control. Now, very interestingly, Praying Medic, he picked up on the order of operations of arrests. And this is in a Q post, and this is post 88. So we know that arrests are happening in Saudi Arabia. Right now, they have detained 298 public officials in the new corruption probe. And Praying Medic refers to post 88, and it says, why is this relevant? Saudi Arabia first, then the U.S., then Asia, then the EU. We are witnessing the storm right now. During the storm, how do you protect the people? How do you track those who are going to be arrested? And how do you protect the public from false flags during mass arrests? You minimize the exposure. You keep public gatherings to a minimum. You close down the deep state targets. We're counting down right now. Now, Dr. Russell McGregor, and I took a portion of his Twitter thread of how this could play out. Now, I'm not saying this is exactly how it's going to play out. I have different opinions on what Dr. Russell McGregor wrote, but let me begin and let me read down what he wrote. He says, "Attention Patriots, my final analysis of how the storm will unfold. I shall put together all the Q puzzle pieces. In doing so, I will take my best guess as to how the ideal U.S. military strategy might be structured to complete the storm. I am willing to take the heat if my guesses do not largely eventuate. Let's start with the virus. SARS-CoV-2 is a PSYOP. It is real virus, but causes little morbidity and mortality. Thus, it is benign overall, and less of a concern worldwide than influenza. And actually, we've been seeing that. The virus can be problematic, but only in those with serious comorbid disease, almost exclusively the elderly. Having said this, preventative measures should be undertaken until POTUS gives the all clear. Antivirals such as remdesivir will be useful in ICU treatment. The virus was engineered by the deep state at the University of North Carolina, Fort Detrick, and AAHL, Geelong. It, however, has been attenuated, neutralized by white hats. 2 of the 4 HIV inserts have had base pair additions to ameliorate the gain of function. China, Iran, Italy are all on the side with POTUS. They have largely manufactured the crisis by controlling the release of the PSYOP disinformation. Remember, Italy was involved in Spygate and needed to make amends. Most deaths will have had intercurrent influenza. Hence, conservative influenza prevention treatment is important. China released the virus at the designated time. The purpose was to create panic as cover for the operation. Quarantines will be staged throughout major cities of the world. For instance, Sydney is likely to start this Wednesday, March 18, 2020. The level of action will be entirely inappropriate for the actual risk posed. The mainstream media is hoping the virus is very deadly and will end POTUS politically. It is not and will not. They will ramp up the panic because they have no other choice. They are under the impression the virus is in the original deep state form. During these quarantine periods worldwide, there will be silent, simultaneous arrests of evil, low-level deep state facilitators. These include MS-13, Mafiosa, the Cartel, Canberra Raiders, and the rest. These nasty individuals will be put in quarantine camps run by the worldwide white hat military. An example are the American locations, and he has this map. Now, we'll talk about this map a little bit later, but the map does match up to the sealed indictments. Let me continue. We will not hear too much of these arrests, although some have already subtly been announced. So no dramatic arrest of these nasty individuals. Silence is strategically the best option. The worldwide city quarantines will continue from the staggered individual commencements until they all end the 10th of April, Easter Friday. Now remember, Trump set up the travel ban and it ends on April 10th. April 10th is Donald Trump's initials. And it's also Good Friday. He said superimposed upon this will be 10 days of darkness, which will begin on April 1st, morning, and end April 10th. Now, I don't know if the dates are correct because we heard from Trump where he's saying there's going to be 15 days. So I'm thinking anything within that period of time. But don't worry about the dates. Think of 10 days of darkness. Let me continue. Immediately before the start of darkness, POTUS will tweet, "My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us." April Fool's Day will lessen the initial worries about darkness occurring. When darkness occurs, there'll be peak COVID-19 panic and medical martial law worldwide. That doesn't mean that it's martial law and there's troops on the streets and nobody can leave their house. This is quarantine zones. Quarantine medical martial law will have been in place in most major cities for some time before April 1st, 2020. Many people will be self-isolating at home. Most will have already prepped for food, etc. In Australia, the unemployed pensioners will be given about $750 on March 31st, 2020. Other countries will have contingencies too. This means few will starve. Some emergency stops will be open to provide supplies if needed, but generally most shops will be closed. The 10 days of darkness will involve no social media or internet. I do believe internet will be up, but we're already getting word that social media, certain videos, certain people that have Twitter, those channels might be shut down. There will be electricity, but no TV or radio. No newspaper will print. The military of each country will close these down. POTUS will have the only available method of reaching the public worldwide throughout the 10 days of darkness, and that will be through the emergency broadcast system or the emergency alert system. Each military worldwide will transmit this to TVs and devices in their respective countries. POTUS will be either aboard Air Force One during the days of darkness for optics. Ostensibly, the excuse for the use of Air Force One will be safety and or infection risk. The EBS, or the emergency alert system, will be transmitted from Air Force One. There will effectively be a total news blackout except for Trump. Now, this goes on with other things, but I wanted to talk about what is going to happen. Now, I do believe that this is about removing the power structure of the deep state. Trump, he came out, and you can see on his Twitter account, there's going to be 15 days of self-quarantining. He wants everyone to be in a group of 10 or less people and people to stay in their homes and don't travel. There's going to be no school, there's going to be no businesses open, and it seems that they are prepping for what is coming. Now, Trump tweeted this out. "I ask all Americans to band together and support your neighbors by not hoarding unnecessary amounts of food and essentials. Together, we will stay strong and overcome this challenge." Remember, Q has always told us, together we are strong. Now, when we look at the maps of the quarantine areas in the United States, we have Seattle, we have Washington, California, we have Texas, we have Colorado, we have Georgia, we have DC, New York, New Jersey, Michigan, we have Illinois. These are the same states that we have all these indictments. Yes, there are other states in the quarantine area.